welcome back to MedPhysio. Let's have a discussion on stating the research problem. Now, it is one of the crucial component in steps of conducting the research because well-mannered stated problem will resolve the half query of the execution part. And over here, execution means the methodology. Thus, it is well said that good statement of the research problem will complete the half of the journey. In this process, it generally follows the two steps. First is identifying the variable, second is structuring the statement. Now in the first component, identification of the variable, we will have a discussion on the basic fundamentals, that is what is the variable, how to identify the different types of variable, and here I will give you an examples about the different types of variable. The next component is structuring the problem statement. It is the easiest task, but many of us are having difficulty. So far, here I will provide you tips for structuring the statement. Now, before moving to those components, the researcher must know their where to look or where to find the statement problem. So, in the manuscript, it generally follows the introduction part. And moreover, it is pointed out with the literature review in the introductory section. So the rationale of this problem should be provided in the literature review part. And gradually it will proceed to a formal statement of the problem. And so here it will generally at the end of the introduction part you can see. Now identifying the variables, right? For that, first is what is variable. A variable is a characteristic or a feature that varies or changes within a study. So you can easily identify those things, right? So how to identify the variable, right? In the experimental example I have given, and in that, if the study is investigating the difference between males and females, right? So here they are searching for a difference between the males and females, right? So in the conclusion, the gender would be a variable. Fine. So this is how you can identify the general types of variable. Now, the next step is to identify the variables, right? So there are several types of variable. Over here I have included 4 types of variable. First is independent variable, dependent variables, categorical variables, and extraneous variables. Now, in that, first, independent variables. Independent variables are usually experimental or treatment variables and they generally found the cause, right? In an experimental research, an investigator manipulates one variable and measures the effect of that manipulation on the other variable that you can conclude as an independent variable. So the variable that is researcher manipulates is called as independent, even it is also called as grouping variable. For example, a study in which investigators want to determine how often an exercise must be done to increase the strength. So here you can take it as an exercise will increase the strength, right? So for this, investigator decides to compare the 3 groups. One group that participates this set of specific exercises for 4 times per week. Second group would do the same exercise but only twice per week. And third, control group would participate in the stretching exercise that would have no impact on strength. So the variable that differs between the 3 groups that compared is an independent variable. This particular independent variable has 3 levels of this single independent variable. In this example, the types of exercise is an independent variable, right? Okay. Next comes to dependent variable. So what is measured to assess the effects of independent variable? So that are considered as a dependent variable, right? So they always illustrate the effects. The outcome variables measured in each subject, which may be influenced by the manipulation of the independent variables, and the change or influenced by the independent variable, that all are the dependent variable. So here I have taken an example of the effect of new toothpaste on a incidence of cries in the first grade children. So the new toothpaste that I have given the name Yummy Tooth. So the intervention group was given Yummy Tooth toothpaste, while the control group was given an identical toothpaste that did not contain the secret ingredient in the Yummy Tooth. This, in the methodology part, the subject was observed brushing their teeth 3 times per day with the assigned toothpaste. The assigned can be by the teacher or the parent for blinding of the study. Then 6 months later, the dental appointments were scheduled and the number of dental cries present in each children was reported. So here it illustrates that there was no cries in the is the dependent variable, because crisis depends on the toothpaste, right? Next is categorical variables. Now the categorical variables are the moderator variable as well. It is a kind of independent variable except that is cannot be manipulated, such as age and gender. To determine the change in the cause and the effect relationship of the dependent and independent variable, categorical variable can be used. Here I would like to take an example of Ansel and Mystery study, that is the effect of synchronous and asynchronous movement to the music. So in that, one group perform an exercise in the synchronization to background music. One group exercised with the background music that was not synchronized to pace of exercise, and the third group exercised with no background music. The independent variable was background music condition. There were 3 levels of variables, right? Synchronous music, asynchronous music, and no music. The dependent variable was endurance performance, which was reflected by the amount of time that the participants could exercise on bicycle ergometer until exhaustion. In this study, endurance performance of the men and women under the synchronous and asynchronous and no music condition were compared. So, here the author sought to determine whether men responded different than the woman exercise conditions. So gender then represents as a categorical variable, right? Next is extraneous variable. Extraneous variables are the factors that could affect the relationship between the independent and dependent variable but are not included or controlled. The possible influence of the extraneous variables is usually brought out the discussion section. In that, I would like to take an example of this the above study, the same study of Enchen and Mystery. Some difference of the man and woman endurance under the 3 different conditions of the music. It might be the women's might be reluctant to exhibit the maximum effort in the presence of male experimenter, and consequently this would be an extraneous variable. So rarely are the variables labeled as such in the problem statement. Occasionally the researcher identifies the independent and dependent variable, but most of these variables are just an implies. In the summary, an effectively constructed introduction leads to smoothly to the purpose of the study. These items are expressed as statement of the problem and should be clear and concise as a subpurpose or the variables it would be allowed. Now our next component, that is structuring the problem statement. It actually important two aspects are there to achieve the clarity in the statement of the problem, and but important aspect is to consider the sentence structure. Over here you can take in structure as in syntax as well. So for an example, suppose researcher conduct a study to compare the sprinters and distance runner in on aerobic power as a measured by velocity in running a flight of stairs. So observer over here, the difference in the meaning if researcher had worded the purpose as to compare the anaerobic power of a sprinters and a distance runner while running up a flight to stairs. Now observe the difference between those two sentences, and obviously you can find that the researcher must do the good shape to make those comparison while running up the stairs, right? So what would be the definite or the better structure which is maintaining the syntax? Obviously the second one, right? So this is how this matters while we are framing or while we are structuring the problem state. It should be very clear cut. It should be understood by the researcher, reader, not researcher, right? So in this summary, I have gone through with the two things. That is, first is identifying the variable, the all four types of variable, and the structuring the problem statement, right? Now, I would like to tell you that it is an only and only if you do the practice at home, then only it will be possible to have a mastery in that this structuring the problem statement and even statement of the problem, writing the statement of the problem, right? So here I would like to give you some tasks you can do at home. Read the recent articles up to the introduction section and identify the different types of variable. Even recognize the problem statement in the end stage of the introduction, right? And frame the statement from your perspective, right? And you have to do it for twice, thrice, four times, five times, six times, seven times until you feel that now I can able to do by my own way, right? So the ultimate take home message for all of you is practice, practice and practice, because practice only makes you perfect. Thank you for listening, and I hope you will do the practice at home.